All right. One thing that surprised me a little bit in reaction to the of results on Tuesday, with a particular focus on the governor's races in New Jersey and in Virginia, is very few Republicans or conservative analysts are trying to spin the outcome. You normally they'd say more aggressively. Some have, but very few have said, blue states, expected results. Who cares about the margins? In fact, people like Karl Rove, people like Steve Bannon, have been very forthright in saying this is a big problem. Even the president kind of said it. Here's Newt Gingrich today on Fox Business talking about his view of what went wrong and the importance of talking about affordability.
This affordability issue, because I think probably I disagree with you a little bit, Larry. I think you have a reality problem here, not a messaging problem. I think when you have 20% increase in the price of electricity in New Jersey, when the average family health insurance plan is now $27,000 a year, basically the equivalent of buying a small car every year. I think when housing costs, a lot of them caused by big government socialism, but when housing costs rise to a point where young people can't buy a house, you have a real sense from the American people. And I've always opposed efforts to tell the American people that they're stupid about what they feel. The job of the politician is to listen and learn and then try to help people, and then they get to lead. And the American people have been saying very clearly for about 5 years now that they're unhappy with the economy, that they can't afford things, and that they're very worried about what's going to happen. Republicans have to come up with a series of strategies. For example, Secretary of Treasury has said that he thinks he has a housing strategy. Well, they better roll it out. We have an opportunity, I think, with transparency and health costs to dramatically lower the cost of health care. We'd better roll it out. I think every time you turn around, you have to find real solutions. And then I think you can build a message. But the message has to be based on reality. And the reality was Republicans weren't focused on the economy. They didn't have solutions, and they allowed the Democrats to dominate. As James Carville said in 1992, it's the economy, stupid. Well, guess what? In 2026, it's going to be the economy, stupid.
Yeah, for sure.
And Republicans ought to focus on having the great answers and then winning the argument over those answers.
Well,
Jim, my guess is you agree with most of that, or maybe all of it. Thoughts on what the speaker said?
Yeah, I do. And Donald Trump risks sounding like Joe Biden if he keeps trying to say that he's defeated inflation. People aren't feeling it yet. He really needs to pivot, and I think he will pivot. He's a pretty smart politician, obviously, and focus on what more needs to be done. And so, because the economy remains a huge issue, and if it doesn't get better, the midterms are going to be ugly for Republicans. Now, there is time for things to turn around. Perhaps we'll talk later about the weight loss drugs. That's an example of cutting prescription drug costs. That's important. That could play a role here. The tariffs, on the other hand, have been a problem, and inflation is still sticky, and people are not feeling better yet. And so that's really got to be the focus of both parties. Really have to focus on the economy with practical ideas.
Beverly, everybody's now saying, even the White House top political official, the deputy chief of staff, James Blair, they're criticizing these Republican candidates for not running on the economy. Shouldn't they maybe called them 5 months ago and said you guys should run on the economy? Or shouldn't the people running those campaigns, like how could that be something? It's kind of like a no-brainer, isn't it?
Right. It does come down to the economy. And I even like the word that's being used more and more. It's good for messaging, that is affordability. Now, yeah. For President Trump, something that he has been harping on for a while are the interest rates. We all know he cannot stand Jerome Powell and can't wait to get him out at the end of the year and put somebody new in. So I think the housing market is a big part of this. But I think what was most surprising about the results was the Jay Jones win. With the amount of issues he had in that campaign, for him to still win, that part to me was shocking. And here's what I thought about in reference to Virginia. I know Republicans, some are saying it's a deep blue state. It hasn't been a deep blue state. It's been a purple state that goes back and forth. But think about the shutdown. Think about DOGE. You're talking about government employees that live in Northern Virginia. And so I'm wondering how much the shutdown may have impacted that specific state because of so many federal employees. So I think there's a lot at play, but it really does come down to affordability, and things have not dropped in price enough.
Right. Our friends at Cozy Earth are having a crazy sale. Like if you're from New York City and you're familiar with Crazy Eddie, prices so low, they're crazy, 40% off. on all Cozy Earth products site-wide using the promo code 2way. Go to cozyearth.com, promo code 2way. Black Friday comes early to those who want blankets, towels, shirts, pants, anything they sell on the Cozy Earth site right now. Viscose made from bamboo, extraordinarily comfortable, temperature regulating. This includes, you might think, well, surely the Bubble Cuddle blanket is not 40% off. That'd be crazy for them to make that 40% off. Yes, even the Bubble Cuddle blanket, 40% off. My towel's on order, looking for them to arrive, but I got everything else. I recommend you go right now to cozyearth.com, promo code 2way for 40% off site-wide. This sale will not last forever. So if you got to do some holiday shopping for folks, I recommend you go now. Wrap the ones you love in luxury with Cozy Earth, cozyearth.com, promo code 2way.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the 2way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and 2way tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.